Okay, ice is forming, temperatures have dropped. It's time to start paying attention to your aeration on your ponds and whether you should be concerned or not and when you need help. Okay, so we've had numerous days below freezing at night and down into the single digits a few times. So that means ice is really setting hold on some of the ponds. And many of you are starting to get concerned, when do I need to worry about my fish and when don't I? Well, first of all, let's rule that out. If you have fish in the pond, that's the only time you're going to be concerned about what to keeping an opening in the ice in the winter. If you don't have fish, enjoy your winter. Don't even think about it till spring. But if you have fish in your pond, traditional ways of keeping the fish happy was a bare bones minimum. You needed a hole open in the ice. Didn't want it looking like this, completely rock solid. All the organic matter, any leaf debris that slipped through the cracks, the fish going to the bathroom, all that is decomposing in the pond and releasing gases into the water. Those gases typically volatilize and just evaporate into the atmosphere. When your pond is completely iced over, those gases can build up inside and they get trapped inside. And they just kind of build up and eventually can become toxic to the fish, and you have fish kills in the wintertime. Many people start thinking that's because the fish aren't hardy or they had the wrong fish or koi are more sensitive. No, the issue is just the toxic gases build up, and I don't care if it's a goldfish or a koi, they need that gas to get out. But that's not just it. If you have a lot of fish or multiple big fish, say bigger than 8 inches, 10 inches fish, those fish, which tend to be koi, need more aeration in the winter. So it's not enough just to keep an opening in the ice. You want to get some supplemental aeration. So kind of an old approach that has been around for years is many people would use a traditional heater to melt a hole in the ice and then use a small aerator to maintain some oxygen exchange and use the two in conjunction. Works very well. As long as the two are working, everything is fine. You don't really even think about your fish until winter. On the other hand, we use deep water aerators. That's what an aerator should look like. And I can hear the gurgling in there. You can see the ice is open. Now, we've only been cold for about a week, and some days are above freezing, so that hole will open and close as the weather permits. But if we freeze and stay frozen, as long as that aerator is running, and even when, what's going to happen is that hole is going to just start closing over, and eventually it's just going to be a big dome of ice. And that's fine too. I don't crack open the ice. I don't chip away at it. You never, ever, ever want to smash a hole in your ice. You can actually give your fish a concussion. What you want to do is just leave it be. If you have an aerator on your pond, as long as I can hear the humming of the engine on the landscape, and as long as I can see hear the bubbles underneath the ice, I don't worry about it. What's happening is those bubbles are still giving gas exchange. Aerators do both things at once. They maintain typically an opening in the ice, but then also they're giving oxygen exchange. So when I have the two of them together, I don't worry about it. Even if that hole closes over, the pond isn't blowing up like a balloon. What it's actually doing is those air bubbles are accumulating inside. They're going to find a hole up my skimmer. They're going to find a hole out the crack in the ice. So I'm getting gas exchange and I'm maintaining an opening. If we freeze and get really cold for 3-4 weeks at a time, yes, that'll be rock solid. But as soon as we get a few nice days above freezing, the hole starts to open up. And again, don't worry about a thing. If you had a net on your pond and you have a few leaves sagging in the water, that's no big deal. If you have your pond, if you had a few leaves and leaf debris, I mean, my pond's always the last one ever touched. And so I haven't even cleaned it up myself. But as long as your pond's not chock-a-block full of leaves, like 6 inches of solid leaves in the bottom, aeration is usually perfectly fine at keeping the system happy and healthy. If it gets mild and in the middle of winter, I'll take my net and try to get some leaves out of there. But I don't muck with it too much in the wintertime. Just leave it be, enjoy the pond, let the aeration run, and that's it. If you lose power and your aerator shuts off, you're fine. There's not even an immediate worry. Don't worry. You don't have to get panicked that something's going to happen and start smash opening ice. Just fix the aerator, replace the aerator. Fix the aerator, move the aerator. If for some reason my aerator failed, the lines froze, and I couldn't get the aerator back on, then take some precautions of Sometimes we'll use a drill and drill out a hole, so it's not, you just don't want compaction. Never grab like a sledgehammer or anything and start smashing the ice. Some people have done it with boiling water. I don't have patience for that. I'll take an old school aerator, an old school heater. They burn about 1200 watts. It'll melt right through the ice. Just set it up on top of the ice and let it melt right through. But then I do that temporarily just to get the opening and get my aerator back up and running. And then I forget about it for the rest of the season. Hope that helps, and don't panic. If you ever get into problems, please send us a message, give us a call. We can help you in case of emergency, but outside of that, you should be good. Take care.